Not one motherfucking bit.
It's Hella Black, motherfucking podcast. We locked in at a new location, but you know, everywhere we go, we make a podcast.
This ain't really a new location. Though,
oh yeah, we recorded here before.
Maybe like episode 3 or 4 was here.
In the dance.
It's not really a new location.
Yeah.
But it's been it's probably been a year since the last time we recorded here.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
But I'm happy we're out here, you know, with our own equipment. Who would have thought?
Yeah. I mean, I've had this equipment for like a year. Nigga, literally 2 years too. I got this from my cousin White Dave. Shout out White Dave. Y'all go check out his music.
Yeah, we had to FaceTime this nigga to figure this shit out too. So
he gave me his music like 2 years ago, and I was trying to start my own studio. This is before I was even doing management work. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck I wanted my own studio for. Maybe because I wanted a podcast. Definitely not trying to make my own music. I think I wanted a podcast before. This is before I was even fucking with you and ABC and all that shit. But yeah. Shout out White Dave. This shit been in my closet for years, nigga. And now we finally making it shake. Look at these mics, my nigga. They just been sitting in the closet, not getting no use.
We had our equipment the whole time too.
Yeah.
But here we are. It's 26 or 27.
I couldn't even tell you, bro. Honestly, I guess I can go look at. Excuse me, the last one.
While he's looking, if you've been a consistent episode listener, I'm gonna say tap in with our YouTube because we on YouTube now. Fuck with us, you feel me? Hit that subscribe button. Episode 27, lock in. SoundCloud, iTunes. Honestly, I need everybody who listens to this episode to give a 5-star review on iTunes, you feel me? Like, we really trying to be Grassroots, and one of the ways, like, if we had, like, hella reviews and shit, like, independently from being on a company or anything like that, like, that would help us out. So, if you're listening, give us a 5-star review on iTunes, you feel me? Take 30 seconds. Tap in with our Patreon.
For sure. And we need that Patreon shit because that'll keep us from fucking selling out. Because without the support of people who genuinely want to help us, like, think about it. We have these conversations all the time. Like, okay, how can we have the biggest podcast we can possibly have, the biggest platform we can possibly have without partnering with some big corporation, right? Like, I sent you this shit yesterday because somebody, like, multiple people were tagging me in that Instagram post from the Google people saying, like, they were looking for, from Google saying that they were looking for, were they saying looking for podcasters of color?
Yeah.
Specifically?
Diversity and inclusion.
Yeah. But it's like, what the fuck do Hella Black look like partnering with the biggest tech company in the world? Like,
especially as we be, like, criticizing the fuck out of the tech industry, gentrification. Like,
it just doesn't make sense. Even if we do take their resources, take their money and their resources, it's like, there's, we still partnering up with some motherfuckers. So it's just like, it doesn't make sense. So yeah, once again, having folks that can't afford to be Patreons, having people that can take the time to fucking review our shit, so that we can continue to stay independent and grassroots, is super appreciative.
Yeah, and if you're white, don't listen to this shit for free. And that's,
no white person should be listening to this for free.
Like, support black people.
Like, reparations, bitch. Yeah. And it ain't reparations because we working. So
right.
Like, fuck that.
But you could even, like, $1, bro. Like, I know some of my partners just be, like, donating $1.
It all add up, shit.
That shit actually rocks. So, tap in with our Patreon, patreon.com/HellaBlackPod. You get extended episodes, too, bro. Like, you get to hear us talk for even longer, So, tap in, rock with us, Because all these white leftist podcasts be, bro, I don't even want to call them leftists, but they be fucking making hella money, hella patrons and shit. I'm just like,
I believe it.
Support black people. Because these white people have these mediocre-ass takes with some fucking lukewarm-ass tea. And that shit is fucking, like, revolutionary. Like, fuck that.
Facts.
Tap in.
Here we are. Let me see that Patron. Like the ginger ale, my man.
Ginger ale like medicine.
It is.
So we got a good episode in store. You feel me? I don't even really, like... We was just trying to record, to be honest. Like,
bro,
I was at the gym when you hit me. So, yeah, it was...
Yeah, fortunately, like, I worked from home today. You were off, so it's like it kind of just worked out. And I was hitting you. I'm like, damn, nigga, like, we really hadn't put out no content this month. Like, that's wild.
Yeah.
And then, like, I feel like literally this was like it worked out because this was the only time I think this month that me and you had to record. But then we're also going to do LMU.
Yeah.
So
we'll have that.
We'll find somebody to get that on camera. But how are we going to get the audio for that?
Shit.
Do we just take
we
this
might
down
just
there?
bring this.
Oh, see, boom.
Rocking.
So we will have another episode up before the end of the month, maybe?
At least for the patrons.
Yeah. Facts.
Like, we finna upload this shit for the patrons, so... Yeah, no, I'm excited that we able to get in, do this episode. You know, mobbed over to Guitar Center before this. Got an extra, you know, XLR cord. This little 3-foot cord. Finna go return this shit tomorrow and get a longer one because I'm over here hunched over like. Yeah. I can't even. Yeah, I ain't gonna fuck.
Can you move this back?
Nah, it's fine. It's good. I'm just complaining.
I was hella skeptical about going to Guitar Center just because I'm not tech savvy. Like, I know how to get shit done. I can make shit shake when it comes to tech and this kind of equipment, but I just have this fear of you don't know how many times like I've like purchased things and it was not the right thing. Like, nigga, remember when I bought a fucking mattress that was too big for the bed frame? Like, I just be having that kind of luck, nigga. Like,
remember the first breakfast program?
It's like, bro, like, I just be having that kind of luck, so it pisses me the fuck off. So I'm like, okay, if you want to go buy this equipment, you can buy it. We can go talk to these motherfuckers, but I don't want to be the one to purchase it because I don't want my bad luck, whatever you want to call it, to rub off on it. But I'm super happy that this worked out. I was starting to get frustrated. Luckily enough, you know, you figured the shit out. We got to talk to White Dave, and I feel like there's always a story behind these episodes. It's just never
the shit like we went through.
Or
like not even went through, but just the shit we experienced.
There's always something.
Always something like.
Except for maybe when we were doing youth radio.
Yeah, youth radio was hella smooth. Like we could just go in there.
At least on the tech side, youth radio was
because they had an engineer in there, so it was always smooth with that.
But there was always one of us rushing to get there, or something happened at work that threw our vibe off, and we just.
That's when I'd probably get the most faded because I just be coming straight from work. You know, I'm just like, fuck. It's hard to go 8 hours and then provide this content. Like, this shit, it ain't just that easy, you know? Like, to just talk and have, like, because we strive to have sharp political commentary, too.
There's nothing worse than recording an episode and feeling like you didn't offer any type of value to the conversation. Yeah. Or any, you know, well, at least...
I think for us too, like we're both very hypercritical of ourselves, so it's like
high for us.
I'll record an episode and I'll even tell you after, I'm like, bro, I don't even know if this was a good one, to be honest, and then we'll drop it and people fucking with it. I'm just like, but I feel like that's just my own inner critic that I have to deal with too. Is like
same here,
just owning like, I'm a podcaster, but say a lot, nigga, I'm a podcaster, you know, and just be proud of it too, and be like, nah, I can do this shit, you know, but it's. I think not everyone, but I know a lot of people could probably resonate with what we're saying, like with the inner critic and shit, just feel like it's not enough, you know, even though what we're doing, like we're really trying to do it, you know.
Facts.
So, should we start with Black Joy?
Yeah. If it's been an entire month since we did an episode, there's definitely some.
We got at least two. I know I got a good one.
I can't think of what brought me some. I've been around.
I think my first one was, being at your house, playing 2K, you know, running the back, winning twice in a row. On PlayStation. That was like 3 weeks ago.
Why were we?
That was something. Was that before Wax's birthday?
Maybe. I'm trying to figure out why we were at my house so late playing 2K. That might have been what was going on. That was Wax's birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a Black Joy moment, you know. Yeah. Beating you at your own house on your own system.
Nigga, for one, that's not my system, that's my cousin's. I do not own this. It's wild. And I don't want. I hate to be that nigga who hops on the sticks and when he loses, it's like, well, I don't play this shit. But that's what it is. I do not own a system. I hardly play video games. Yeah. But don't let me start taking that shit serious, cause. And then also, I hate niggas like you who pick the best team in the game and act like it's some miracle that you have to put some extra work in to win, nigga.
Bro, I've been rocking with the Warriors, man. Since Monte Edwards, bro.
Forever. I hate niggas like you. I swear I do. Like I said, man, you did get me, you know. So I'm happy that you got some joy at my expense. I'm a martyr.
I've been waiting to say this on the podcast. I ain't gonna lie.
Damn, nigga, like, that's how you know this nigga really ass, though. The fact that you, like, I forgot all about that shit. Nigga, move on, nigga. What the fuck?
Shit.
You for sure served me, though. I ain't mad. What else? You said you had 2 moments.
Shit, brunch was cool. Just over at Yummy House. That shit was fucking lit. Just hella turned off, you know. These new kids, they be drinking Paternity. I don't know. Somebody, you know. Yeah. Apparently it's a new style now, Paternity or something like that. I don't know. So, yeah.
Shout out Patron. What was my Black Joy? November. You know, I went to New York and I was talking to one of my friends and I was saying, you know, one of my younger sisters lives there and she just had her son. He's my nephew. He's I think like 6-7 weeks old now.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, it was wild
over here.
Yeah, it was wild. I have like 4 sisters maybe, but this is my sister that moved to New York maybe like a year or 2 ago. This is my first time going to see her out there, and I can remember like we were meeting at this diner before a meeting that I had. We were meeting at the Apollo Diner in maybe Brooklyn. I don't know where the fuck this shit is.
Which borough?
I don't know, sad. Bro, it's wild. You know, me and my sister are super close. We talk all the time. We talk a couple times a week.
Yeah.
And she had been sending me pictures of my nephew and shit. But when I got to the diner a little bit earlier than her, and when I was waiting for her, bro, it felt like I was meeting a long lost relative. I'm talking like every 30 seconds I was looking up when somebody walked through the door. I had never felt like this before.
Yeah.
Like it was wild, bro.
That's what's up.
Yeah, it was. So when she walked in with my nephew, this is also the first time that she's been anywhere outside of the house with him with just herself and the baby and not the father.
Right.
You know, so it was just so much anxiety for both of us for so many different reasons. But when we got to see each other, bro, I felt so happy, and like to have my sister out, you know, away from family and friends and out in New York, you know, living her own life and doing well and being a wonderful mother. That shit just brought me so much joy, bro.
That's
I was so
beautiful.
happy, bro.
That's
yeah.
so beautiful.
And then also, you know, I have my mom's sister stays in Jersey, so
you got to see her?
Yeah, after I took
up.
my sister to breakfast that morning, then me and my aunt, my uncle and their 2 kids, we went to dinner that night. And that was all in one day, bro. It was wild. I know me and you talked about, what was this? You know, like acknowledging us living the lives that we've always dreamed of.
Right.
Like that's something I've always wanted to do, is just be able to like be a resource to my family whichever way I can be, travel the world for work. Like to know that I was like in New York on business, but then also getting the chance to like lock in with my family and my nephew for the first time. It was wild. So
That's dope, man.
Last week brought me a lot of.
Cause I remember you always talking about how you wanted to visit your family out there too in Jersey and shit. You know, like maybe a year ago, 2 years ago.
Niggas really couldn't afford to go out there for real.
So for you to be able to do that, bro, that's beautiful, man.
Yeah, I was juiced, bro.
Happy for you.
You know, joy is important, man. I hope everyone is finding the opportunity and making some time to have joyous moments. It's hard to do it when you're always caught up in some day-to-day shit.
Right. Like I was talking to this nigga Kelly. I think he tweeted some shit was like, I've been surviving for so long that it's like now I'm learning how to live. I really enjoy shit. You know what I mean?
I don't know how to do that shit, bro. That's something I struggle with every day.
Yeah. And that's something I'm learning is like thinking about everything, like, you know, like when I'm 20, I was like thinking about what I want to do, what I want to be doing, you know, like in my future, you feel me? I'm like, damn, now I'm reflecting, like I'm in therapy reflecting, and I'm just like, I'm doing every single thing that I said I wanted to be doing right now, but I'm still like very critical of myself for like not enjoying the moment, you know? And then like I feel like I had a breakthrough in therapy. I was like, damn, like I really am doing everything I said I wanted to be doing, and like I need to be happy for it.
When you connect that to some form of like conditioning, right? Like when you grow up in, especially for me as someone who grew up fucking poor, single parent home, like trying to make shit. I know as I can look back at what my mom was going through now, I was in the door, I'm like, oh, we was just trying to make shit work every day type shit. You know, you get accustomed to having to survive, and then you throw in being black and all this other shit into the equation, right? Yeah. I feel like we just get accustomed to always having this kind of sense of like survival. So when you do make it to a point where you're not in that state anymore, nigga, that's 20 years of that shit. It's gonna take a while to kind of work through that, or to even try to. Some folks can't even put a name to it, you know?
Right.
So it's something I deal with on a daily basis, bro. It's trying not to, because I think even through that, you sometimes start to self-sabotage, or you start to expect bad things to happen. I know everybody can identify with that feeling like shit's going so good right now.
You're so used to shit happening, you're like, damn, like shit's been cool for a year, like
something
something gonna happen, or man, I'm gonna do some stupid shit just because I'm used to it. I don't know. Yeah. I can relate.
You self-sabotage.
Like, I've done self-sabotage. It's just like being used to trauma or some shit. I don't know. I don't know if you could be addicted to trauma.
Yeah. Ooh.
Or
damn, I like that.
Because you're so used to it. It's like it's your mental process. You're like, I'm so used to some shit happening and bouncing back. Something happening and bouncing back, and then when nothing is like everything's going smooth, and you're just like waiting. You're like, something has to happen soon. For so
many of us, survival has just become the norm. That it's hard to recognize where you're no longer in that state of survival. Like, bro, I still check my bank account on a daily basis because there was a point in time where that motherfucker was hitting overdraft and I know that I'm not gonna get no overdraft situation. I have to be spending recklessly right now to hit the overdraft situation, right? But I be having visions of people coming just taking my money from me. I don't know. It's just like you probably can become addicted to trauma, bro, or so traumatized that you don't even know how to recognize when you're no longer in the traumatic circumstances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but that's like the shit we're describing. I feel like sounds like PTSD. I don't know,
man. But it's like, can it really? Well, yeah, that's definitely PTSD. Well, because there still are situations that we have that aren't post. I mean, like you know, like the shit is still very prevalent. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So PTSD might be an example of like, I'm no longer in the financial situation that I still was, but I still act like it. Like that's for sure PTSD. Mm-hmm. But there is some shit that's actually happening right now for most of us that's, you know, traumatic. That's
why I forgot who said it. It was like black people, yeah, we experience PTSD, but it's more like CTSD, current traumatic state, like stress disorder. Because like shit is like, as good as we, you know, can have it, there's always, you know, current shit that can happen at any moment. Yeah. You know? Facts. Like, but, yeah. But I'm proud of us, man. I'm proud of how far we done came, man. We got a show coming up, too. A live podcast in LA. Like, that shit made me to think about, like, 2 years ago. You know, when we recorded in the little studio in West Oakland, like, 2 years later, it's like now we had the live show in Oakland. Now we're doing another live show in LA on the 29th, you know, November. Pull up. We're going to post a flyer soon.
I be having mixed emotions about shit like that. Yeah. Like, I fuck with the fact that we're growing, but then also I don't want to be one of these niggas that's just like, I just have so much, I don't know if discernment is what I'm looking for, but like, I connect these type of events to the niggas who be pushing kind of that neoliberal agenda. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about like motherfuckers who be pulling up on campus sometimes and just be, do they really be that invested into the work that they're doing, or is it really just an opportunity to pull up and get the bag? Right. I don't ever want to be that, bro.
But are you pushing neoliberalism?
No, definitely not.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's why I think it's. I'm happy for us because it's like, bro, it's very rare
to take the revolutionary politics, like
taking radical politics to a campus for the shit that we talking about. Like, that shit don't happen. You got to be on some Van Jones shit. You know, like talking about, oh yeah, we gotta come together on two sides, and Trump is very presidential. You know, you gotta usually be on some shit like that to be able to get like recognition from a different campus. You know,
facts.
So like, I think it's important.
Yeah, that was something I have been thinking of recently, and also just like you said, bro, I never thought that. I know what you're saying. I just never saw myself going to. I never thought my opinion mattered that much. Right. To be honest, you know, like I always knew that I had, you know. To myself, I thought I had like value to offer and shit, but to know that other people also see that value in the way that I see the world is wow. When we about to go talk to like there's a student that I worked with who I'm about to see when we get there, bro. Like that's, I don't know, it's
full circle. Sometimes.
Yeah, it's like it's hella layered. It's not just me pulling up to LMU and, you know, talking. And I hopefully we use this as an opportunity to like really build community with the black students up there.
Yeah, I know I got some family down there too. They're probably gonna pull up too. So like. Just excited to.
So it's like open to the public or something?
Yeah, I think
it's on campus though.
It's on campus, but it's gonna be open to the public. So, yeah. We rocking. So November 29th, if you're trying to see us live, you in LA. I know we get a lot of plays out there. Come fuck with us. You know, follow us on social media at Hello Black Pod. We're gonna post up on there, but follow us right now. Even if you're on the road, you know, have your passenger. Follow it, open your IG, tap in with us. We 18 minutes in and we just been talking, but. I feel like this has been a good organic ass episode already.
Like, I don't really have any anxiety around this episode. Yeah. So I fuck with that. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. You happy about that?
No.
I don't know how to process that. It's like it's since I've been fully understanding what the holiday means and not from like a colonial
standpoint.
Yeah, like it's been hard for me to process and hard for me to understand. I know like last year I was on some really like, yo, fuck Thanksgiving type shit. Right. Then I'm also seeing points just like, fam, like shit, any day that we can just like come together and chill and not have to, you know, I don't know, not be stressing and shit. But I get it, but at whose expense? Right. Or like, you know, like does that mean we just not going to acknowledge what this holiday actually represents? And I know black folks tend to have different opinions on this. Like if tomorrow I was at the table, right? And I was just like, yo, fuck this white man's holiday. Niggas would be like, yo, like, nigga, we over here breaking bread. Like, nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, we building right now. and this is some black shit in every sense of the word for us, but I can only imagine how I would feel if motherfuckers like this holiday represents Native American genocide, right? I can only imagine if niggas was like, if we had a holiday that celebrated the transatlantic slave trade. I would be sick, bro.
Like this Columbus. I mean, but also people don't know the history. Like that, Columbus, that nigga owned hella slaves. Like slavery was going on at the same time.
When you think about Columbus Day, don't you think about when Columbus like first stepped foot on North American soil, right?
Yeah, but who do you think built Columbus's ship so that he could fly or sail over? I said fly.
But that's But that's not
niggas don't connect it.
But you also tweeted the other day about how like motherfuckers had you doing like Pilgrims and Indians, right? When you were in like elementary school. Right. So
that's a part of that propaganda.
Yeah, like it's we're showing Native Americans on Thanksgiving, right? Like when you think about Columbus Day, you don't see the African slaves and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it
symbolizes Native.
Yeah, it's like it symbolizes that Native American genocide shit way deeper than like the way that you're evaluating Columbus Day is like a lot deeper than anyone has to do for fucking Thanksgiving, because that shit is right in front of you. Right. Like you'll see the Pilgrims and the natives on shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I think it's important to remember. You feel me? Like, why is this day? Why do we have this day off for work? You feel me? I had this shit off, like, and I got paid today, but at the expense of who? You feel me? Like, we on a lonely land right now.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to remember, like, all the lives stolen from genocide and colonialism. You feel me? And people want to talk about Columbus and all this shit, like 1492, Columbus sailed the blue. That shit many as fuck how we learn that shit in schools. You know, when we literally indoctrinated from a young ass age to like literally think that like Columbus is this great person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like we gotta recognize the indigenous people, you feel me, and the land that we're on. And also like I feel like our oppression is bought in too. You're tied in at least. You know what I'm saying? Like I think black and indigenous people, like our oppression is like it's different but similar at the same time, right? Like we're domestically colonized, we're landless people, you know, on stolen land, and we were forced to build and do all these, you know, all this shit.
I'm trying to find you this fucking tweet that I just saw earlier. It was like, celebrate, feel free to, indulge and celebrate Thanksgiving, but also think about the ways in which you can support natives. So I'm like, fuck, I'm trying to find this shit. Wow, see, this is that. Yeah. We ain't really podcasters yet because, niggas be having this shit on deck. And now that shit was
because
like,
a lot of these motherfuckers have like producers and shit, bro.
Nigga, we are producers, nigga. What the fuck?
Yeah, we just sit in the car before I talk about what are we gonna record. What we finna talk about, you know? But I really think it's important for black folks and native folks, indigenous folks to build solidarity amongst each other and like we all gotta be free, you feel me, for us to all be free. Like we really on stolen land right now. You feel me? And it just makes me think about, like I was tweeting a little bit about the fires. Like, for those of y'all that don't know, I mean, I hope y'all know about what's going on in California right now, but this shit been sick. Like, everything been on fire up in the northern California, like really northern California, like Chico, Butte County and shit. Shit been on fire in LA. You hear more about the LA fires, even though the shit out here started first, because, it was in Malibu and shit. Yeah. Up north it's mostly like white folks, poor white folks. Not all poor white folks, but there's a lot of more,
Yeah.
Like
it's not like the black population in Chico and Butte, with the exception of like people who aren't students at the like Butte Community College in Chico State, I'm sure it's very small. Yeah.
Like it's a very wide area.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But I was thinking, like I was listening to this native podcast. And also I was listening to this nigga Jabril. He was talking about shit on his Instagram story about like why this shit is happening. And basically just talking about like these fires that are happening is because like California practices fire suppression, right? But like indigenous people before fucking colonizers, they were doing
fire suppression.
Fire suppression is the shit, or like the shit we have now. So it's like you have fire departments, fire starts, we're gonna suppress the fire.
Not prevention.
Yeah. Right? Okay. But in indigenous cultures, like they practice like traditional burning, right? Or like controlled burns is what we would call them now, right? Where they would literally have controlled fires every 5 to 10 years, right, to prevent these big like catastrophic wildfires that we see today. Right, but when you're
because motherfuckers don't know how to operate on the land that they're not supposed to be on. That's really
case in point.
Hundreds of years later, we are not supposed to be here, bro. Like we're not supposed to.
Literally, the land is telling us get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like straight up. But like indigenous people, you know, like when the missions was being built and all that shit, there would be building. Or they would start fires, right? But the colonizers are like, oh, they're starting fires, they're setting fire to shit. But they didn't realize that the indigenous people had a very strategic meaning behind starting the fires. So they banned traditional fires, right? So like indigenous people used to have traditional fires in order to stop what we see today. It's catastrophic fucking wildfires, biggest wildfire in California history, you know.
And you know that shit's still not contained?
It's probably last time I checked it was 50% contained. You know, luckily we got some rain going on, so hopefully the rain is putting that shit out, you know. But like, just think about like tribes that are still up there. You feel me? I don't know the specific ones, but like, you know,
we haven't. What in our like 25, 26 years of living, we haven't really been around for any of like the big natural disasters. Like we haven't had the earthquakes, we haven't had a fire this big. But it really got me thinking, you know, what life could be like for us out here when a real natural disaster hit, like something that's as catastrophic as fucking Katrina, right? Like think about the poor folks in these communities that didn't have access to like the proper masks and shit, right? You know, think about it's just like some of the conversations that we had, it was just wild, but it got me thinking like, fuck, like niggas really don't be prepared for shit like this.
Right. I mean, luckily for me, when the fire started, the first thing, you know, I have asthma. First thing I did was go straight to Ace Hardware because like I can't breathe that shit, so I was able to I just bought like 30 or something masks just cause, handed some of them out, you know.
Yeah.
But like, people aren't really thinking about that shit, you know. It's like smoke out, but bro, the air quality was at like 230, 240.
Nigga,
at some point it was at 300.
Yeah. At one
That's
point,
fucking like anybody, regardless if you have like a lung disease or anything, is gonna feel the effects of it and can get sick from it. Like I had to take off work. That's how bad that shit was, you know.
It's wild because I was rocking. Like,
you have asthma?
I don't have like any respiratory shit.
Yeah,
really.
But I think like a lot of people and like won't realize just even all the shit that's in the air right now. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's like. What role is the rain playing right now? Like, is this rain that's coming down actually healthy, or is it like just like?
So I've heard when I was some UCSF doctor I saw on Twitter today. Shout out to nigga OG Penn. He retweeted some shit talking about UCSF basically had said that some of the rain has like some like acidic principles in it or whatever, or some acid or whatever. It's not acid rain, but it has some of that shit in it. So like it could upset your skin, but it's not like hell of bad for you. So it ain't acid rain, but it says probably as close as acid rain can get. At least the first rain, you know, because if you think about it, you have all this shit in the sky, rain coming down, it's gonna catch it.
For me, all this shit was just a wake up call, really. So okay, I need to really have some like emergency game plan going on, especially like we dealing with a situation where we're in California where like earthquakes can happen, and you seen what happened in Katrina, right? When that shit hit, and it was really like all hell broke loose. You know what I'm saying? Like it was something that a lot of people hadn't been prepared for. Like imagine not having enough water, imagine not having enough food on deck just because you're not thinking about shit like this.
Right.
Not being armed, because motherfuckers, white militias was for sure going
smoking
wild when Katrina popped off. You know what I'm saying? So, and we know the Proud Boys are in full effect out here. We've seen it. We've interacted with these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, California is the home to the most like white militia groups and white nationalist groups, like so-called progressive California, right? So Democratic blue state.
Imagine us like in situations with like the Chico fires and shit, right? You had people who were displaced and were like sleeping in parking lots in like their local Walmart. So imagine us from the earthquake hitting, boom, and then now we got to be in fucking parking lots and shit. And we not armed and white militias coming through. Yeah,
and food is a scarcity and water is a scarcity.
You think they just needed? Most of them don't need a reason to enact you feel me, violence.
That'll give them an excuse because martial law would be, you feel me? Especially for us, like, bro, we live on a fault line, bro. One of the biggest fault lines, you know, in the fucking country. And who is going to be the most victimized from this, right? It's going to be the poor black folks, right? You know? And I think it's important for people to be prepared for it. Like, we was talking about, like, shit, we got to have some plans. You know what I'm saying? If some shit pop
If earthquake hit right now, bro, I definitely don't have a place of, like, a meet-up point with all my family. That's ridiculous, bro.
Right. And that's something that's...
Niggas for sure don't have enough water to last us a couple weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's just shit that niggas think of. First aid kits.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Yeah, the homie Jamel, like, she always been talking about this, like, earthquake preparedness emergency shit. So I was like, yeah, I need to finally listen. Like, especially after the last fire in Santa Rosa, I think that's when I bought, like, a 7-day survival pack, you know? And so it's like, I have that shit packed in my closet, you feel me? So if some emergency happen, I have a 7-day survival pack, you know? I got some 200 rounds of ammunition.
Niggas could never be too prepared.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta be fucking prepared for shit to happen, because if we really look like and study the history of natural disasters, like, black folks have been getting killed, especially if we look at Katrina. You know? Yeah. Like, black folks was really being just murdered. Bodies left out for days just for, like, resources. You know? Yeah. Like, when the national, like, it's gonna take the National Guard a long ass time, especially with a motherfucker like Trump. Like, this motherfucker don't give a fuck about people out here, you know? So I think it's really important, you know, for folks to really think about emergency preparedness for yourself, for your family, and for your community, and start beginning to organize things around that. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially it's like, if you don't have an emergency bag, like, you gotta, like, an earthquake bag is great, but if you can't protect yourself, what good is that earthquake bag?
And that's just, I think, the truth that a lot of people don't want to acknowledge. Like, you gotta, I think, especially as black folks, we should definitely learn from what happened with Katrina, bro. Like, look at what was, man, it was, and, like, I guess, like, the content warning, or trigger, content warning, like, both. You look at situations where they put all these folks in this, was it the Superdome at the time? And, bruh, a lot of violent shit was happening. You looking at rape, you looking at killings, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just a lot of shit that was going on in there, and I was just, we should learn from, because that's not, I don't think it's necessarily a mistake on our end when you're looking at the systems that allow for this kind of shit to happen. But that's definitely something that we should take heed of and try not to repeat the same shit.
It's like, not always being a reactionary.
Preventing. Even if it doesn't happen, at least we can say that if it did, we was prepared, my nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Like, this smoke, like, when this fire happened, like, I feel like I learned from the last fire, you know? Because, like, at least for my work, like, I ordered hell of them last time. So we were able, that first day the smoke was happening, we were able to give out masks to hell of my students, you know? I was like, damn, this is the first time I feel like I've actually been prepared instead of being reactionary every single time. You know what I'm saying? And what do you know? Like, 2 days later, all these masks are sold in the Bay. You feel me? Imagine if you're older, you know, elderly, you feel me? And you can't have access to a mask or some shit like that.
Houseless, bro.
And you
there's so many layers to that shit.
Just think about, like, shit, where we are right now, West Oakland. Like, environmental pollution is a real thing. Like, the freeway right here. Like, I literally have this fucking, like, I don't know, I think it's called, like, salt or some shit on my windowsill. That, like,
from the fire?
From just the fucking freeway.
Damn.
From all the exhaust particles. That shit builds up. Like, and it's just, like, I'll show you after this shit. Like, this shit is just dirty. I have to clean it up, you know, once every, like, 2 or 3 weeks. That shit will just build up.
That's wild. Bro.
Right? So we're in West Oakland, where then you have, like, shit, Bay Bridge right here, too. Think about all the cars that are coming through, right? Then you have East Bay Mud. And then you have
recycling center. Like, well, they don't have the one over on by Poplar anymore. Right. But they also got the one off 3rd.
And then you got the port
spot. Yeah.
Port of Oakland's the second biggest port in the country.
Damn.
So think about all those things. So a lot of, like, think about the smoke. Black folks are already experiencing environmental racism at a higher rate than anyone else. So then you add smoke onto it, right? We're already breathing, and then it's a whole nother factor.
Man, I've seen that tweet where a motherfucker was just like, yeah, I gotta get up out of here for the week while this shit is popping off.
I was so hot, bro. I was like, you can really, like, people are catching flights, these gentrifiers, these transplants, techies, like, oh, smoke is bad, I'm gonna go back to the East Coast.
Shit is wild, bro. And again, I think...
But that speaks to the privilege, though. You know, you think about, like, the fire in Malibu and shit, and, like, how there's gonna be like this neoliberalism is already here, right? But there's gonna be a neoliberal like form of like disaster prevention and shit like that. Like Kim and Kanye had a fucking private firefighters outside of their house. Nigga, I did not know private firefighters exist. What the fuck?
Hey, yo, it was wild because I went to the Rams game on Monday and fucking you could have we on camera now, so you could have just said past that like yo, pass me that, bro. But
I forgot.
I went to
I didn't want to
so like they gonna see that shit.
I don't want to fuck you up in thought you talking this shit. You know
it's all good. So I went to the Rams game or whatever, and they had like a bunch of they gave away a bunch of free tickets or whatever, and they had like a bunch of folks who were affected by the fire there, and it was wild because at some point Robin Thicke was on the screen. He was talking about how he lost all this shit in the fire, and I was like, man, fuck that nigga. But at the same time, I was like, man, fuck that nigga. You know what I'm saying? But then I think also, I don't know if that was me and you were talking to me and Kelly who were talking, and I was talking about Marcus. I'm like, he got some shit that can't be replaced, like a lot of like memorabilia, gang balls or whatever. But my point of all this is, it fucking sucks that when you deal with fighting white supremacy all day, every day, it makes you so disconnected from like, it makes it hard to empathize with any white person, bro. Like, how am I just like, fuck this nigga whose whole house got burned out, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, nigga, shit, how he was able to accumulate all those things were probably a result, not probably, it's like a 99% chance it was
of
the root of like some capitalist white supremacist shit, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I think about this a lot, and I want to, as being an empathetic person, and being someone who loves deeply and cares deeply,
right.
I want to, empathize with these people and care about them. But how when these people,
motherfuckers is racist,
the exploitation of you don't even know. And my cousin's like telling me like, nah, like Delencia, I'm telling you, after seeing how close that shit was to my house, I would never wish this on nobody. But I'm like, fam, that nigga probably don't even like you living by him. To be honest, like, you don't know how this motherfucker feel about black people, but it's just so.
He might have called 911 on your ass the day before.
It's just so wild how. It's just white supremacy, and this shit sucks so much because it makes you so disconnected from white people. Like it's so hard for me to just feel like.
Mm-hmm. It's real.
It's so hard. It's hard. It makes it hard for me to empathize with white people in any situation.
And I was thinking about the same thing too.
Cause I don't want nobody to get their fucking shit burnt up.
Right.
Like, I don't know how this motherfucker feel about black people. Fuck this nigga. Like that's really what I be thinking. Like damn, like I'm empathetic with this nigga, but on any given day he would.
But if we keep it in the stack, like you're onto something, right? Because look at where the fires were, and Orange County. Orange County is one of the reddest parts. They have a whole fucking KKK.
I've been to Thousand Oaks before, nigga.
Like some of the most racist ass people live there.
Yeah.
The fire in Northern California. That's
Chico, Northern California.
Red, deep red hillbilly ass shit.
I used to go to school in Humboldt, which is Northern California, and they used to have like. I remember like hearing like the Klan up there was thriving, bro. Hella thriving. So it's like, bro, I don't give a fuck about them niggas. I hate to say it. No, I don't hate to say it. Let me stop lying.
I think we're both empathetic people, so we're like,
it just sucks.
Even if you're a fucking racist, like this is how like people think black people, like people probably think we're the most like radical, like we hate white people and shit. And like, nah, we're still empathetic with motherfuckers who are racist and just lost all their shit.
Like it sucks, but fuck that nigga at the same time. Like that's how I be feeling. Like damn, my nigga, house burned down. Fuck, I couldn't imagine. Like I've been houseless before.
You're also a settler.
But fuck this white ass nigga.
But I think it also shows one thing I was also thinking about too is just like Trump's response. Like he has some just ignorant ass shit to say. Like
I didn't follow under that to be honest. I haven't seen. I haven't heard a word that Donald Trump has said since he's been in office.
He would,
to be honest.
I don't know, some shit came up on my timeline, and he was like, "Oh, these federal forests or these forests are so mismanaged. Like, shame on the government or something like that." Talking shit. I was like, "Bro, first of all, the majority of these fires are in federally managed forests, so that's actually your job, bro." But just showing actually what made me think about how these white rich people actually don't care about like poor white folks either, right? Because these are majority, lower middle class or working class white folks living up north, I would say. That would be my guess, right? This fire happens, and then you have this, this red area too. So these are Trump's constituents too, right? People who literally voted for Trump, probably, right?
Yeah.
If you're looking at the electoral map. And Trump don't even give a fuck. Like, oh yeah, the first thing he say, you have over 1,000 people missing. The first thing you say is like, oh yeah, we're gonna wreck these forests like the Finland people do, and you know, these forests are mismanaged. It's like, bro, you talking about yourself, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just show like poor white people that actually, you know, you all motherfuckers need to stop investing in white supremacy too, because
black folks been trying to tell their ass like, nigga,
any fucking day you are expendable to this shit too.
Because in a capitalist society, class is overall, my nigga.
Right.
You know, class, nigga. And then when you know, in certain situations, it's like, okay, once we can't use class as a means to divide and conquer, then we'll start getting into the race shit.
Right.
But
like, invest in your whiteness because you ain't like them other niggas.
Yeah.
But it's like,
you might be poor, but nigga, you white.
You white, like, you know, you can still, white is right. You can walk around doing whatever the fuck you want. And I was like, it made me really think about like just the situation, you feel me, like what we do with the breakfast program and all the houseless people in Oakland. It's like, you have a bunch of houseless white folks now at a Walgreens parking lot, and guess who's trying to evict them? The government. Trying to evict them off of the, you know, they literally set up a refugee type situation, and they're being evicted out of their houseless camps, like, you know? Yeah. So we're seeing the similar things, right? But of course there's a bunch of, you know, people care about this. There's a lot more, oh, my hearts and prayers, but like, we'll care about this, but we will walk past people in Oakland every day. I think about probably how much money has come out of like a lot of these tech people in the city, you know, in Oakland and shit too, to donate to the fires.
Money has come out of it.
Just like donations, you know what I'm saying? But people will walk past houses, people on their way to work in downtown San Francisco.
Yeah.
You know? Like there's a certain compassion there, you know, but it's like at the same time this government don't give a fuck about your ass either. These, you know, people living in these
but it's hard to see, it's hard to understand that when
you benefit, I guess.
They've been able to divide and conquer through race. Like, I feel like when you see it on TV, right? Think about when the election was popping off. So you see these people who are so caught up in their whiteness that they refuse to acknowledge their class. They refuse to see how they're also being exploited by this white supremacist capitalist patriarchy.
Right, like white women will literally like choose their race over their gender in these like elections that just recently just happened. You know,
to be the same ones hollering about inequalities and, you know, equity and shit, you know, whatever. All right, sus.
That shit wild.
It's a wild time, B. You know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. But this is hella black, you feel me? We gonna have conversations about this shit. We gonna talk about it.
I want to get a guest on here, folks.
Yeah. I mean, now that we got this shit set up, I'm pretty sure there's a way where you can add another channel.
We also about to upgrade our recording shit.
Yeah, we finna get some.
I seen you and Taylor talking on Twitter. I want to get Taylor on here bad.
I mean, honestly, we could.
I also still want to do that sex work shit too. We should get Raquel on here for sex work.
Let's do it too.
Cause I definitely want to. We have so many guests that we can get on here for some fire content.
Right. I think once we figure out all this technology shit too, like there's really no limit that Hello Black has.
Hey, we're the whites that want to come show us this tech shit for the F.
What are these whites that want to buy some Sennheiser microphones?
Do you work with any white people? Do you ever think about how white folks would feel when your white coworkers would feel when they hear this shit?
I mean, I don't really work with
I got a few white coworkers.
You know, I don't really work with white people like that.
White people be hella sensitive.
They be controlling the university, but I don't like really directly.
White people are like.
White tears is a real thing.
Yeah, when it comes to like any form of, you know, like people who are at the top of the hierarchy, they're always hella sensitive when they're being critiqued. Like I think about us as black men. Whenever someone offers a critique about us, niggas just like fucking lose it and get all defensive and shit. Yeah, so I could imagine some of my white colleagues like hearing this and.
Delancey, this is how you feel?
Yeah, like once they hear something that's, you know, like strikes a nerve, feeling like, oh, well, this nigga's out of pocket. Well, it's like, if the shoe fits, wear it. Also, if the shoe fits,
don't wear it.
Like, you need to do some fucking work.
Don't put that Birkenstock on.
You need to do some fucking work. But I often wonder how, we got some white friends who hear this shit and, you know, they fuck with. We got a lot of white patrons, too. Patrons?
Patrons.
No, nigga. We got a lot of white patrons, too, so.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's white folks who fuck with us, you know? And, like, the shoe don't fit, don't wear it. And if it do fit, think about why it do. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So I think it's always important. Like, if you're listening and you're non-black and something strikes your chord on this, listen to it again.
And that's how I got better at shit, bro.
And then listen to it again.
I think also being able to like handle critiques, you have to have the desire to want to be better.
A lot of people don't want to be better, bro.
At least they say they do, but then they start getting critiqued and they fucking lose it.
Right, and it's like, critique is important, in my opinion. I mean, it's made me better.
It's definitely
I'm just like, shit. And then sometimes I've been in my ego like, nah, fuck that. I don't know what the fuck that was saying. I'm gonna keep it a stack. Like, I felt that way before, but I'm like, I really gotta think and dive deeply.
Did you say that out loud or you just thought it to
in my head? I never. I mean, I'm smarter than that.
I've definitely heard some shit. I'm like, that hurt me a little bit, but it's true.
Right.
So,
but I ain't gonna tell nobody, like,
whatever.
Like, I ain't gonna be like, nah, nigga, like, and just be all.
Yeah.
Nah, I say it to myself. But that's keep it to yourself and think about it, and then learn. And then when you learn about it,
speak.
Yeah, they don't do that, bro.
I don't know how these podcasts should be recorded for 3 hours.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, we 45 minutes in. I'm just like, damn, we've been fucking.
You gotta love to hear yourself talk to do this shit. Yeah. Or that's where I think about the podcasts that have these long episodes because they have guests on there, bro. And then we do like, imagine if we did our whole little introduction, our whole little spiel, and then we and then we transition to welcoming a guest, and the guest does their intro and their spiel, and then we
already 20 minutes in.
That's how you get. That's how you get to the 2-hour episode. Yeah, shit. But like that just ain't me.
I don't know how. At least for myself, like we don't really listen to podcasts. I think the first podcast, I mean, I've started to listen to ours a little bit more, like just to like be critical of what we're saying and shit, or just in even the editing process. Like I've listened to a couple of ours, but I've only listened to probably a few of ours.
The last one
from front to end.
The last one we did was the first one that I've ever listened to fully.
Episode 26.
I'm not even lying. I don't know. This shit kind of dope. I see why people like it.
Yeah.
And that was like, oh, okay. I think I get the Hella Black thing.
And I think the only reason why I listen to it is because I'm the one editing them. Yeah. So like that's why I'm listening to more. But I was listening to that nigga Logan's podcast. Oh shit, this shit cool. I see why people listen to podcasts. Like it's informational when he was interviewing Marcus. Yeah. But it's a cool podcast. Like.
Tap in with, is it? Let me see what Logan shit is.
The Logan Murdoch podcast, I believe.
Let me see what that nigga shit is. We trying to plug some shit.
Well, that's what Hell Back is too. Like, you feel me? We trying to plug other people who are doing podcasts, you know. So tap in with his podcast for sure.
Logan's podcast.
We all could win. We all could eat.
Logan Murdoch podcast on SoundCloud. If you LOGANMURDOCK podcast. Logan Murdoch podcast. Logan shit fly. His shit gonna take off too.
Yeah, nah, his shit cool.
His shit's gonna take off.
Cause that nigga got guests.
Yeah. He always got guests. He got some dope guests too.
Yeah. I think we should start really trying to get some guests on this thing. I enjoy though how we built our brand though, basically with no guests. You know?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's cool how we did that too, you know? And then when we start having guests too, like that shit gonna be lit. Because I know there's for sure.
Yo, what up? This is Logan Murdoch. Welcome to another edition.
Oh, I thought you called that nigga.
No.
Fuck, now that we have this shit set up, like, we can record
when we get the portable shit, it's gonna be way better. I'm trying to figure out how Logan does his shit because Marcus wasn't in Oakland when they did that, I don't think. Or he might have pulled up on him actually.
Yeah.
He might have pulled up on him. So he got some portable shit.
Yeah.
Fuck, I mean, it's just I'm getting old.
Yeah, bro, I feel you. Even sitting down like this, my shoulder's starting to hurt.
My fucking knee hurts so bad. I played basketball for 2 hours today.
I don't know how you did that, bro.
Bro, 26 is not that fucking old, bro. So, like, why is my body doing this?
Nigga, when did you start playing football? What age?
When did I stop?
Start.
10.
When did you stop?
22, 23, 22.
So you played contact sports at a pretty high level.
But think about, bro, there's still some niggas like, nigga, Kobe played basketball for 20 years.
That's basketball, though.
Nigga, it's hard on your body.
Yeah, but you played football, nigga. You was playing a full contact ass sport.
Nigga, basketball players play 82 games minimum. Yeah. I don't want to hear that shit.
But, like, think about the type of contact that football has versus basketball.
I don't know, man.
Like, why do baseball players play till they're 40?
Baseball doesn't have nearly as much contact as basketball has.
And why do golf players play till they're 55?
Okay, we talking about non-contact sports, my nigga. Basketball is a contact sport.
Yeah, it is. It is, but you could, like, you're not, bro, you ain't fucking tackle the motherfucker.
I know hella, I know niggas that play in the league right now who 25, 26, and they're not even in the prime of their careers. I'm just trying to figure out why my body is doing this, bro. Like, there's no reason my knee should be hurting this bad. I was having a back spasm earlier. I don't fucking get it, bro. And it's frustrating as hell. Like, where the wash club at? Tell me how to make it through this shit. Because 26 is not old, bro.
Bro, I'm 25. I'll be waking up and just like hopping out of bed limping.
Like, nigga, when you take that first step, like, like, come on, bro.
I was sitting the other day, like, just doing work on the couch in the resource center. Mm-hmm. I'm just like walking out, so like, damn. My sister's like, damn, boy, what the fuck happened to you? I was like,
my knee hurts
contact
so
sports until I was 23. Like, you know, that shit is not cool.
My shit really killing me for real.
Like, and think about if you played longer, bro. Or think about, you know what I'm saying? Like, think about if you went to the league. How your body would be feeling, bro.
My shit hurt right now. My fucking knee. Fuck. There was something we didn't talk about. I don't know if we should save it for the extended content.
What was you finna talk about?
About white bro who got arrowed to death.
Oh, yeah.
But if we do that, what are we gonna do in extended content?
We could do that for extended. Or we could do it now. I mean, we could begin it now. And then be like, oh, if you want to listen to the rest of this shit, you gotta pay up.
Yeah, that was wild. I was happy.
I was like, happy Thanksgiving. You know, that white bro who was
Can't say I wasn't happy.
He was trying to go to this island that is literally, you're supposed to stay the fuck away from it. There's a tribe that has
how
not
do they
been
do
touched.
that? Like, because you know white folks do what they want when they want to. So I'm trying to figure out how they've been able to survive this long without being infiltrated by white folks. Colonized, not infiltrated. Colonized by white folks.
I think it's because like the Indian government has been protecting them.
What island is, like, where is the island located?
It's like in the Indian Ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty sure it's in the Indian Ocean. I forget what the island is called.
They arrowed that nigga.
They killed that motherfucker for trying to pull up.
I wonder how long he was on land before the first arrow hit. Like, did he step off the boat and get whacked? Or was it like...
I don't know, man.
Yeah, they probably weren't trying to hear none of that shit. Niggas don't speak English. Bop, nigga, you done for it,
I
nigga.
don't know.
Nigga, them niggas wasn't trying to hear none of that shit. Nigga, them niggas wasn't trying to hear none of that shit.
It's really just in time for Thanksgiving, though. Like, man, like, this is, yeah.
And you know what's wild? I remember you was like, nigga, like, you said earlier, like, this is literally how colonization starts. Like, they send a missionary. Because, bro, at least he claimed he was a missionary, right? Mm-hmm. And that's, like you said, that's how it starts.
Bring diseases, right? Think about all the fucking missions in California that, like, wiped out a native populations,
mm-hmm.
right? Like, that's exactly how it starts. Oh, I'm going to spread the good word of God. And your diseases, and your whiteness.
Niggas be spreading God in the flu. Niggas be spreading God in the flu and measles.
Right. And just even from how, like, that motherfucker washed up to shore. He might have spread widdly diseases just by his body washing up to shore.
Like, the common cold to a motherfucker ain't never been exposed. The common white code to a motherfucker ain't never been exposed to no shit like that.
Right.
Life-threatening.
Whiteness is a disease, and it's been proven. You know?
Mm-hmm.
But I think one thing... Are we on the extended episode right now? Alright, if you want to tap into the rest of this shit, you know, tap into our Patreon, patreon.com/hellblackpod.
Shout out to the folks that are patrons. We still got mad love for y'all. I want to appreciate y'all for listening to episode 27.
Yeah.
You know, shout out to all my beautiful black people out there. And I just want to take the time to say, Black trans lives matter.
Yes, Lord.
Peace and love to all black people. If you ain't rocking with black trans, queer folks, I don't want to say something foul. Yeah, shout out to all the black trans and queer folks out there. Shout out to all the black women. Shout out to all the people that's out here fighting for this liberation. Hella black. I'm talking about.
I'm just retweet everything that nigga just said. You know, I can't say anything else on that. But like us on SoundCloud, tap in with our iTunes, subscribe on YouTube. You feel me? We need to get our subscribers up. So rock with us if you're rocking with us. You feel me? Like it on SoundCloud. Tap in on iTunes. We on Google Play too, apparently. Spotify still ain't fucking with us. I thought after this Playboy article they tap in, but they ain't rocking with us. But whatever, nigga. We still rocking. So now we in the Patreon. Just talking about that motherfucker who pulled up.
Nigga who got arrowed to death. That's a cold way to go.
Cold game.
I love this song.
He felt that shit, you know.
Nigga.
Cause he was dying, bro.
I just wish I was there. I want to see it. Like, they make all these movies, like, fuck, make some shit about this. Like, I just want to know, like, damn, like, did he hop off the boat and they wop, wop, wop? You feel what I'm saying? Cause, like, you gotta think about it. If they don't speak English, your skin is a skin that they associate with bullshit. Off the rip, they know you touching down on bullshit. So it's like,